Hey everybody, it is I, Rene Shades. Here's a little tip of the day for all you mixer wannabes, professional mixers, songwriters, engineers, producers, whatnot. It's actually a very commonly used plugin called the SSL channel straight from Waves. And it has a little feature I just thought I'd show you in case you didn't know. It all involves this little button here, Dynamic SC, it says, Dynamic Sidechaining. So I have a track here where I recorded a vocal. Sounds like this.
We play stadiums, whiskey, beer, and women.
So it's a little bit dark. It sounds tight, but it's a little bit dark. So I want to sparkle it up slightly, which for some reason makes it sound even tighter. So this SSL plugin has a nice little feature here, which is this button that I want to talk about. So as you can see, a lot of 14 dB, almost 9K, 2.5 almost here, 6.5. Dipped a little bit mids, and dipped again the low mids here a lot. So we don't like this 160, 170 area. For some reason, it just doesn't. It's not very pleasing to the ear sometimes in certain songs. So if I would just play this as the settings are, it would sound absolutely horrible. You can see it's also filtered out here. So all the low mids and low end is gone. It would sound like this.
We play stadiums, whiskey, beer, and women.
Yeah, not nice, is it? But if I engage this button,
We play stadiums, whiskey, beer, and women.
for some reason it sounds okay again. What it does,
We play stadiums, whiskey, beer, and women.
so it adds a little bit of sparkle. It's a little bit tighter for some reason, even though a lot of the low mids have been taken out. And I can tell you exactly why this happens, if you didn't know. So here's a little schematic of what happens inside. So if you engage the dynamic SE on the E channel, SC, sorry. So the audio passes through the dynamics, which is basically, in this case, the compressor. But part of the audio gets split when it goes in, and it goes through the filter, through the EQ, and then back again into the dynamic section, and then out. What happens is, within the plugin, you have a parallel routing thing going on that maybe is not that commonly known. I discovered it very late, and I think it's absolutely amazing. So you get to keep the normal signal that you recorded, plus something happens as a parallel, and you don't have to set up 2 channels to do this. It's quite easy just to press this little tiny button here, and that's all it does. So I can play you again without.
We play stadiums.
And with.
We play stadiums.
And even though I made these quite large moves here, it sounds a little bit more sparkly, a little tighter, a little more rounded. So without it, it would sound like this.
We play stadiums.
And with.
We play stadiums.
And if you want to add a little bit, you can always add. Here's a couple of stock plugins from Avid, Pro Tools plugins. It's any EQ will do. Any sort of 1176 based compressor will do. So I just rounded it off and made it speak to me a little bit here. So what it's doing is this.
We play stadiums, whiskey, beer, and women.
So hitting about -7 gain reduction. So quite heavily sort of pop rock compression, but a very easy way to do it with super easy plugins. I can play the whole thing without any plugins, what it sounds like. So I will bypass these 3 as you see here. The way to do that quickly is to highlight the channel you're working on in Pro Tools, and you press Shift A, and it just bypasses them. So it's like this.
We play stadiums, whiskey, beer, and women.
It's okay, a little dark, want a little sparkle, a little bit tighter. Here we go. Engaged.
We play stadiums, whiskey, beer, and women.
And what that does is it makes it sit a little bit nicer in your mix. So tip of the day, SSL channel from Waves is still full of secrets, even after all these years of using it. Now I actually know what it does, and hopefully you do too. All right, see you next time.